Hello, and welcome to another episode of AMOI Unplugged, Exploring Diversity, a program that focuses on the efforts and milestones geared towards the diversification of our nation's economy. I am Chioma Ikejiani. Despite the importance of electricity in the economy, Nigeria has not been able to harness its full potential. For decades, Nigeria has been crippled with power challenges, but President Muhammadu Buhari's unwavering determination to turn the tide around, there is a glimmer of hope. To make this dream a reality for the Nigerian populace, President Muhammadu Buhari brought on board a brilliant scholar, a goal-getter, and an astute leader to transform the power sector. Stay with me as we delve into this burning issue. Welcome back. Today, our guest is the Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Sally Mamman, an administrator par excellence and a technocrat. When Sally Mamman was announced as the Minister of Power, he was relatively unknown to many Nigerians, but he was one of the finest gentlemen with a deep sense of commitment to responsibility. Thanks to President Muhammadu Buhari, who has continued to discover and throw up new talents into the country's leadership. On assuming duties, the minister started his work by visiting all the major power projects around the country and immediately released a 5-point blueprint towards reforming the power sector. When we come back, we will be hearing from the man himself. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here, and you know that I've wanted to do this for such a long time. So thank you for having us, and I know that your schedule is very tight. And I've got to congratulate you. It's been a year, because I think that you were nominated in August 21st, so we've actually doing a year. How has it been? How has the journey been so far?
Well, thank you very much, Chioma. The journey has been so far good. Mm-hmm. Everything is moving according to schedule, and God willing, we are going to arrive at the right time.
If you look at the power supply situation in Nigeria, how would you describe the current situation right now to the Nigerian audience that is watching this? How would you assess the power supply situation, Minister?
Well, as I said, so far so good. We have moved very fast, and we have improved a little bit the power supply in the country. It was not like this before. We have improved the capacity of generation and distribution. So we're trying to make the supply constant. We're trying our best.
You know, when I was preparing for this interview, when I was doing a lot of research, what I kept on hearing about is we have so many challenges, there's so many bottlenecks. I would like you, as the minister who has the full reins of this ministry, to sort of talk about what were some of the challenges that you got when you came on ground.
Well, first of all, when I assumed duty as a Minister of Power, I discovered that the major challenges we have is the infrastructural development. Our infrastructure is almost dilapidated, particularly the distribution sites, transmission and distribution. We need to replace a lot of equipment. Wow. We need to align the sector so as to get the flow of supply.
When you say that infrastructurally, equipment is not there, how do you want us to move forward? Because as you said, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it's to have, as God will have it, when I came in, we are already on the move to secure a loan. As you know, it's a project that needs very capital intensive. The government, cannot fund everything in the power sector because there's a lot of money needed for the equipment. All the equipments of the power sector are very, very expensive. So we need to get people who will come and do the investment in the sector. So, and then also secure a loan that we can come and invest, so that at the end of the day we recoup the money and then settle the debts.
Tell me about the loan. About the loan that you're looking at, the loan that you were able to secure.
So far so good. I think we have secured up to six or more $6 billion
Wow.
for the sector, so as to come and realign, readjust, and then replace equipment, and then get into reliable and robust supply.
I'm going to take you back to when you first came in, when you learned that you were Minister of Power. You wanted to take your time to see what was happening. And I think one of the things that you did was you decided that you were going to tour and see some of the infrastructural things that were happening in the country. You came up with a 5-point blueprint.
Yeah.
Tell me about the 5-point blueprint that you thought could help Nigerians get more access to power.
Thank you very much, Chioma. First of all, I remember I told you when I realized first and foremost is to go for the infrastructural development. Infrastructural alignment is one of the major problems. I also have the problem of enhancing the power access, also the problem of market efficiency, that is enhance the market efficiency. We have also that problem of corporate governance sector, and then coordination of the sector. These are one of the major problems, and also the legacy projects that we have to complete so as to get more generation. Those are the things I identify before I start action. That is, and then as God will have it, Mr. President has already been going on with one initiative, which is PPI, Projection Power Initiative, who is there to align the infrastructure between transmission and then distribution. This Mr. President has what is fantastic focus, and he was just on the verge of promoting this initiative when I came in. So I just have to queue up and then make sure that then it's successful.
One of the things I'd like to talk about is something that everybody's talking about, which is the tariffs. I know you don't want me to talk about it, but I have to talk about it. What's the status of tariffs? Is it going to be on the increase, or it's not going to be on the increase?
I have to tell you, it's something inevitable. Globally, you have to increase because of, how the forex now, everything changes at the time. There's a standard for all these things. That there is a standard on how you consume every kilowatt hour of a supply worldwide. So Nigeria is not an exception. We just have to join the queue.
We'll be right back with the Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Sally Mamman. Welcome back, and if you just joined us, I'm here with the Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Sally Mamman. Thank you so much for spending this day with us. I am so happy. I know that when we last spoke, I said that I would ask you about the national metering policy, but before that, there's something exciting that's happening with power, and I'd like you to talk about that. And that is the new Siemens deal, the Nigeria and German deal. Can you tell me a little bit about what the status is with that?
Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari have now entered an agreement between the German government and Nigeria to come and realign the sector. You know, our major problem, I told you when I discovered, mainly was transmission and distribution. So cement are here to take care of this problem.
But why Siemens? Why not any other company but Siemens? What was so fundamentally special about Siemens?
Well, first of all, you know, is bilateral, is government to government. So the government of Germany may decide to take cement, of which we just have to accept. And in addition, I want to tell you, is one of the reputable company. They have done it in Egypt. They have done it in one of these countries. Give me the name, Iran. And we have seen which they have exactly similar problem with our own. So we have to take them in confidence that they are coming to do the right thing.
But what is their objective and mandate? What exactly are they going to be doing? What is their responsibility?
Yeah, as I said, when they come, they are going to align the sector, infrastructure, right from the generation, transmission, and distribution. But first of their responsibility is to take care of transmission and distribution alignment, of which they will upgrade the capacity of the transmission of the distribution from 5,000, say, now to 7,000. And then the second phase to upgrade the capacity of generation or to increase the capacity of transmission to 7,000 megawatts. And then generation at the end to 25,000.
Wow.
Remember, our capacity of generation, now installed capacity of generation in the country is about 13,000.
But that's a lot. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the problem?
We have the capacity, we can generate up to 13,000, but we cannot pick all. We cannot evacuate due to our infrastructure problem of the transmission company. And also, we cannot exactly, what we transmit or what we pick from the generation, we cannot exactly distribute because of the incapacity of the distributions end. They have to, that is why I say we have to align the sector so that when we generate, we can equally transmit and equally distribute so that we will have the flow of generation without any drop to the end users, that is the consumers.
You know, when I hear you speak about this, I can only imagine people in the rural communities, people that have been in darkness for so many decades. As the Honorable Minister, what are your plans in terms of bridging that gap? Because we that live in the urban centers, it's easier for us.
Well, thank you very much. Remember, I told you is one of my key focus area.
Yes, sir.
That is increasing power access. We have almost about 80 million Nigerians that are unserved, that they don't have access to electricity, mostly in the villages. So we are coming up with a program electrifying the villages. We have mapped out the clusters, and we have come out with a plan that we are going to provide them with solar home systems.
Okay.
And I have a proposal with Mr. President, and he has given us the approval. Very soon we're going to start implementing the program, reaching the villages where the national grid cannot go. You know, that national grid where all these big towers cannot reach. You know, there are some remote areas that all these towers cannot reach them, so we have to go by rural electrification. We have to go by solar, so that we go with either mini grid or microgrid.
So this is probably introducing renewable energy
Exactly.
into the system.
Exactly.
If you look in the last 1 year, 12 months is not a lot of time for something that we've been dealing with for many decades. What would you say have been your key achievements in terms of milestones?
Well, the achievement is exactly generation and transmission and also distribution. For the first time in the history of transmission in this country, we are able to transmit 5,400 plus capacity of megawatts, and then equally distributed to the end users. So it's a milestone, it's a very great achievement. We are now on course.
There is something that I do want you to talk about before we end this interview, and that is the impact of COVID-19. It is something that hit us without any warning. I remember in February 27, we had the first case in Nigeria, and it's almost as if our lives just changed. But how did COVID-19, what kind of an impact did COVID-19 have in the power sector?
It has affected all the global economy, as you all know. Yeah. Majorly, you know, we wanted to implement that, that tariff issue. Also, we are about to see what we can do about it, whether increase, whether reduce, whether make sure whatever. Then when this thing came in, so we have to slow down, and this thing has really affected us. You know, there was an agreement between the government and the investors that every 6 months or every year there's a review that we have to do in the tariff, and because of this COVID we cannot do, and we have to provide people with constant light because they are all at home for the security, for whatever. So these are the challenges I think we face a little bit in this COVID, but things have started picking up, and then finally we are on the track. Can
you tell me a little bit about, the Buhari administration is actually noted for this, and that is looking after abandoned projects. The Mambela hydropower project, that is something that no other government touched for many decades, and yet this is something that your government decided to take on. Can you give us an insight on the level of progress so far on the Mambela?
You know, when I assumed duty newly, you know, the first thing I had to come on and tell the whole world the situation of Mambela, because it keeps ringing the sound that Mambela has been lingering for over 40 years.
Yes.
So what is exactly happening in Mambela? And remember, Mambela is come from Taraba State, which.
So it's very dear to your heart.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to take it very serious, and I have to go and see and come back and tell Mr. President the exact situation of the matter, and for also Nigerians to know, so that they shouldn't even blame. At the end of the day, they will say, okay, why people keep on talking about Mambela? We have not seen anything until the end. So I have to tell them the true picture first and foremost. It's like a lot of things that nothing exists in that place actually, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing. It's just a bare land that we have not even secured. So the first and foremost, I have to talk to my governor. I have to meet him and ask for the permission. We want to do Mambela in one part of your state. Can you give us this land? He said, why not? It's all for our good, for progress, for our people to. Also, at the end of the day, they will get a good job, so why not? So we enter into memorandum of understanding, and he just say, go ahead, I have to go and supervise the place. First and foremost, he asked for the money of the survey, because it's a lot of money to do the survey. He said, the state cannot afford to do that. We say, no problem.
Wow.
Federal government will come in here, we'll give you the money, we'll go and do the survey.
So the money has been, the funding has been approved.
We provided him with the fund to go and do the land and the aerial survey. And as God will have it, today it's a history, they have done the survey.
And that has been the first time that has,
the first time
in consecutive governments.
Yeah, to acquire the land. We have not even acquired the land where we're going to do this. We have identified quite all right, yes, this is a very place for the hydropower system. In fact, one of the best in the whole world because of the fall.
Wow.
The height is almost a kilometer distance that waterfall.
Beautiful.
So one of the very rare, you get it in all over the world. So
it's like Niagara Falls in Canada.
Exactly. Now,
but you know what's incredible about this? You're from Taraba State and you're the Minister of Power and you're doing this. How does that make you feel? How did you feel when you signed the Memorandum of Understanding?
So happy, so excited. In fact, I know my name will be recorded. No, how this is something unforgettable, something that will not get out of my mind.
So now that you've signed the Memorandum of Understanding, you've done the surveyor, what happens next?
Next is registration. We just have to do the statistic and know the people who are supposed to evacuate, leave that place, and give way for the contractors to come and start doing the job. So we are going to, we are talking, we have now submitted our proposal. Anytime from now, government will release some fund for us so that we settle the villagers and then clear the road for the contractors for the work to take off for the groundbreaking.
So that comes to my final question. Your collaboration with CBN, the Minister of Finance, in making sure that there's transparency and good governance in the funding that's coming from World Bank. I would like you to speak a little bit about that, because I know that you're a man that is very big on integrity and you want things to be transparent. So for those that are listening, for the monies that are coming, the loans that are coming, I would like you to speak about how you're collaborating with World Bank, African Development Bank, the Minister of Finance, CBN, in making sure that there's equal flow that is coming in, to make sure that you have the funding to do what you have to do to reach your mandate.
The World Bank have their own rules and regulations before
That's
they
correct,
give you
sir.
any loan. So it's not something that you just come and collect and go and squander it anyhow you want to do it. You have to spell out everything in clear terms, and this thing has to be, prudently followed. Both finance, central bank and the clients. So there's no problem.
And how are you working with the National Assembly in terms of legislation, in terms of policy? Is there anything how would you address them in terms of them helping you reach your mandate?
Actually, there's no problem for now. The relationship is very cordial, and they understand us very well. Each time they call to know, at their oversight, we explain to them this is the situation and this is the position, and they used to be very okay with whatever explanation they get from us.
As the Minister of Power, in the last year, the year has been incredible. We're moving, we're working hard, we're doing the things that we need to do. But Nigerians that are watching this and that are very hopeful, what message do you want to leave Nigerians with in terms of what they can expect in 2021, 2022, 2023, as you hold reign? What message would you like to leave to Nigerians?
I want to assure them that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari is totally committed. He is totally committed in the PPI, that is the Presidential Power Initiative program, which is coming to do the alignment of the whole value chain, starting from generation, transmission, and distribution, so that whatever we generate, we can equally transmit and also distribute at the same time to the consumers. I want to assure Nigerians that President Buhari is fully committed, and we are behind him, and he's also giving us the full support.
And for the stakeholders that are watching this?
Yeah, I also want to urge them to also, let's work together, the whole stakeholders, let's work together as in synergy. I told you one of the problem I discover in the sector is lack of coordination and then working together, collaboration, working in synergy. But so far so good. There's very good understanding between the stakeholders. That is why you see things are moving, and there's an improvement in generation. So we pray this we should continue. I want to encourage and also pledge that we should continue at that pace.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. And thank you for making my dreams a reality. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Need I say more? I'm sure you've enjoyed that interview. Till I come your way again, let's continue the conversation on our social media platform. I am Chioma Ikejiani. Thank you. Stay safe and goodbye.